Okay, so we're in this international break. I did not expect for big news to come out. I expected a very boring international window, right? Like, yeah, we're going to be seeing Argentina, USA, Spain, and all of these national teams play. But that it doesn't bring me the exact same type of excitement like how club football does bring. So I expected a very boring international break, but already on the first day, like we're talking about the Tuesday of this week on March 24th, we're already hearing a lot of updates in regards to where Barcelona want to go in the future. Now, I want to make one thing very clear because oh my god, I moved the mic. I want to make one thing very clear because I understand, like I always say, that new viewers come in, new people come in. I want to contextualize everybody here. I want to give everybody some just context on where Barcelona's at defensively, offensively, in the midfield. It's very important because it's going to be explaining the reason why Barcelona are so keen on certain players. So Barcelona for sure right now have been dealing with defensive issues. I am okay with these defensive issues. Obviously, would I like to see them get improved? Of course. But we only have these defensive issues in terms of like the high defensive line, getting caught at the back. We only have these issues only because of how high risk we are in the attack, right? Like I think that if Barcelona are organized, they're 100% attentive on what's going on from the front, and we can defend from the front and take the ball away from the front, press well, be organized, etc., 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 then this whole high line issue would never even be a problem. But because we're not so perfect in the attack and in the midfield, and because sometimes our press does fail, we do make mistakes at the back as well, right? They get caught many times. And like I've said, I'm okay with taking this type of hit at the back as long as Barcelona can score 4 to 5 goals in every game. I like the type of football that we do play. There is a price to that. Like I've said, right? That high defensive line, it does get caught. Could we perfect it? Yes, of course. But whatever way we're going right now with Hansi Flick, I want us to continue to go down this path. It has to be the only way. I remember 3 years ago, everybody was saying Xavi's football is so boring that we only win by 1 goal or we only win by 2 goals and we never score more than 3 goals in every game, right? Because that's just Xavi's bland football. It sucks. We need something more exciting. And we were winning games 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Maybe sometimes it was 1-1. Maybe sometimes it was 0-0 because our football was very conservative, right? Hence the reason why in one season, which was in the 2022-2023 season, Barcelona only conceded like 20 goals in one season under Xavi Hernandez. With that being said, now we are with Hansi Flick. And now everybody's complaining about how we concede too many goals. Like the fact that we score 5, but only for us to concede 2. So like it's like people are just never happy. People are always complaining. People are always nitpicking. People are always talking about Barcelona have this problem and that is why Barcelona are not going to win anything. Barcelona have that problem and that is why Barcelona are not going to win anything. You just cannot satisfy the football world. You can't satisfy the Barcelona fan base. I just think that if we're going to suffer from something, I want to suffer from us conceding a lot, but at the same time, I want to score as many goals as possible, leading to all of our players performing exceptionally well. Because that is what we're seeing today. I want that instead of just us being conservative and boring and not really playing the Barcelona way, because the Barcelona way is the entertaining, dominant way. I'm sorry, but like that type of football where if you expect for Barcelona to win 5-0, 4-0 in every game, conceding no goals and scoring all of them, that is just being unrealistic. It's just not going to happen. However, like I've said, going back to my original point, we can get better at the back. Could it be perfect? No. Perfect doesn't exist. But could we reach for perfection? Yes, of course. And one of the ways we could reach perfection is by signing quality players at the back, whether it's in the starting 11 or on the bench, right? We need quality players on the bench and also quality players in the back line that is starting. And that is the reason why Barcelona are looking at Bastoni, because now we're seeing that Barcelona do want to bring in Bastoni. At the age of 26 years old, the interest is very much real. We have Samuel Marston, one of the most, if not the most reliable source for FC Barcelona news, alongside with Fabrizio Romano, claiming the exact same thing. Bastoni would be open to a move, right? It says here that a world-class left-footed center back who brings veteran stability and tactical intelligence at the highest level, Bastoni wants to come to FC Barcelona. It is very much like a real thing. Like this is where Deco and Flick want to take Barcelona, is by bringing in Bastoni and to reinforce that backline alongside with Kubarsi and Gerard Martín. Now, once again, I want to give you guys context because he is good in elite ball progression, right? Like in terms of like the ball progression and bringing it forward, elite, great, amazing. He's in the top 2% of progressive passes among all defenders as well. He is weaker in the defensive duels compared to his peers. He's in the 23.8 percentile, which is not good, but obviously he can improve on those aspects of the game. So he's more of a build-up center back than somebody who is like a destroyer, somebody who just says, I'm going to tackle this player, I'm going to steal the ball away, and nothing more. I'm going to give it to Kubarsi to progress. No, Bastoni can also progress the ball as well. But all in all, though, his profile does fit the Barcelona system perfectly. I think that we're going to be signing a player potentially that is going to be expected to carry the ball forward, right? To progress the ball, make those passes through the lines, very similar to what Gerard Martín does today. Now, here's going to be another conversation I want to have with you guys, because with us potentially signing Bastoni, there's pushback, and I talked about this in the previous video. There's pushback because everybody's saying, why would we spend 75 to 80 million euros on somebody like Bastoni when we already have somebody who might even be better than Bastoni? And that is Gerard Martín. Gerard Martín, at the age of, I think, 23 or 24 years old, has been doing very well in this season with FC Barcelona. And Data MB, who is very alive on X, or aka Twitter, or used to be Twitter, Data MB, that likes to do comparisons between different players, posted something on X last night because everybody was asking, hey, Data MB, can you compare Gerard Martín to Bastoni? They also included Schlotterbeck as well, but like, we're not talking about Schlotterbeck, we're talking about Bastoni, because Schlotterbeck looks like he's going to be renewing with Dortmund until 2031, and so we have to forget about that. He's not even going to go to Real Madrid. So Data MB came out with a big analysis, and they said that Gerard Martín, aka Gerard Maldini, outperforms Bastoni in 6 out of 7 categories this season. 6 out of 7 categories this season. And we're talking about comparing Martín to Bastoni, who is widely considered as one of the best left-footed center backs in the world. It's crazy. Martín does win on passes completion rate, forward passes completed as well, the aerial percentage, the possession won percentage, the defensive duels percentage. Martín is only losing to Bastoni on progressive carries, and that is it. Like nothing else. Martín also has the highest dual win percentage among center backs in La Liga this season. Also, it states here that Pau Kubarsi has only been dribbled past once in 2,000 minutes, alongside with Gerard Martín. Right? Like, they're equal. Kubarsi and Martín are equal in terms of being dribbled past every 2,000 minutes. Like, they have only been dribbled past once in 2,000 minutes. And because of this exceptional stat that Pau Kubarsi and Martín bring together, right? And because of how Martín is so individually better than Bastoni today, that is also the reason why Barcelona have won 15 times with Martín in the 11. 15. They have never lost. Barcelona have never lost with Gerard Martín in the 11. Ever. Isn't that crazy, right? So Gerard Martín has been that good because he anticipates the ball, right? He knows where the ball might go, and usually he's correct. When he has the ball, he distributes the ball very well. I always like to bring that example of Gerard Martín, like placing that ball to, I think it was Rafinha in the midfield. Rafinha receives the ball through a one-touch, passes it towards Fermin Lopez, boom, goal. But that pass, which is what made the goal, it was amazing. And to be very honest, bro, like, in the very beginning when Martín was first introduced, which was basically last season under Flick, I think that many have been very unfair with Martín because Martín was mainly used 90% of the time as a left back, and him playing on the left back position, being asked to go on 1v1 duels like Alejandro Balde, it did expose his limitations. And that is why I explained that Martín is a player that moves like a center back. I said this last season. And I wanted to see him as a left center back to be paired with either Araujo or Pau Kubarsi. And we're seeing that today, working out very well. And so many people were saying, like, this was the main agenda, that Martín was somebody who played on the left back position, but does not supply the exact same attacking quality that Alejandro Balde does provide. To me, that's a little unfair. It's very to me at that time, it looked unfair because to me, I understood that Martín was never a left back. He could play there in certain occasions, and I think that he will in the future. But we cannot just say we're going to judge Martín on the left back position and nothing else. And if he doesn't do well, then he has to leave FC Barcelona. That is unfair because this guy is a center back. As a center back, You see all of his skill sets. You see what he's really good at, right? He's not being exposed off of the certain limitations that he has compared to Alejandro Balde, right? Like the passing that he has in the buildup is very valuable. His pace is perfectly fine as well. He's like he's not slow, but he's not very fast either. But it's good enough, and his aerial ability is elite, right? Like if we want to win in the air, whether it's defensively or offensively, Gerard Martin is our answer. So I would just say that when you look at Gerard Martin, you look at what he supplies, whether he's a left back or a center back, and when he's being asked to cross the ball into the box, I would just say he's a little weak on there, even though Gerard Martin showed that he provided a great cross against Inter Milan, right? So he has done certain moments in the game where he did provide a great cross into the box, and it ended up being an assist. But all in all, though, like I would just say like 85% of the time those crosses are usually kind of bad, but he can improve on that aspect of the game. That is the only weakness. Everything else is being maximized from him. He's amazing. And this is what Flick had to say a couple of days ago. Gerard Martin is a very good example of what attitude and effort can achieve. I liked what I saw. He has improved a lot. And Martin also said this about himself. I feel comfortable at both center back and left back position. More and more, I feel better in defense. My goal is never to stop improving. And so, I don't know, like you guys decide. And if you guys have not ever seen Gerard Martin, because once again, I understand that some people might be new here. If you guys have never seen Gerard Martin, go look at his performance against Newcastle that happened a few days ago. It's one of his best performances yet. And he's just one hell of a left center back. And that is the reason why people are having pushback on why sign Bastoni, why sign him for so much money when statistically in almost every metric, Martin is better, right? And I want to leave it up to you guys to like for me, like in the way that I view this whole thing is I don't see the reason why Barcelona cannot have both. Why not have both? We need depth. Going back to my original point, we need depth. We need Martin and Bastoni. I don't care if it's going to cost us 75 to 85 million euros. Barcelona have been preserving their money over the past 6 years. Now is the time to tackle because we play 50 to 60 games a season. How are you going to tell me that Martin should play 90% of the time in the next season and not have any other true real backup? Like, okay, if Martin gets injured, which is very much possible because everybody gets injured, everybody does. Frankie, Pedri, we've seen Paulo Barca get injured. Araujo, he had a mental health issue. People can get out for different reasons. And if Martin ever gets out, right, like what's going to happen? What's going to be our solution after that? Because the most dangerous thing that you can do is to rely so much on Martin. Him performing so good, right? Like being untouchable. And then out of nowhere, he's out of the picture because of a hamstring injury. Barcelona will suffer. You're gonna wish that you signed Bastoni. And so I think that if we sign Bastoni Martin, we can easily rotate to make sure that they never get fatigued, making sure that they never get injured. It's something that we want. Don't overanalyze this whole situation. Don't say, oh, because Bastoni's not that physical, that he might not statistically bring Barcelona something new and what. Don't overthink it. A good player is a good player. It's that simple, right? Like, just think straightforward. Point A to point B. Is he a good player? Yes. Okay, point B, great. Straight line. You don't have to be like, is he a good player, but like he might not be good here and there and like maybe not there. Like just go straight to the line. Is he a good player? Yes, great. He'll improve Barcelona. That's it. That's all you gotta think about. Why overanalyze? You're gonna end up like Pep Guardiola, just overanalyzing the hell out of certain games. It's just like depressing. It's like, just like being like I don't know. Like just don't do that. A good player is a good player. He will be amazing. Bastoni, bro. If you're hearing this, most likely you're probably not. But we welcome you. You are a culé in our eyes. If you want to come to Barcelona, make it happen. Tell Inter Milan to go screw themselves. No, I know Inter Milan is like your boyhood club. I understand that. Don't say that. But like, bro, if you're hearing this, we welcome you at FC Barcelona. Come and enjoy our type of football where you can maybe score more goals, more assists, heighten your career, and most importantly, win more trophies. Because I don't see Inter Milan in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I'm sorry. And I don't know how it's going to be for you guys next season. I have no idea. But you will be in the conversation in every season. In the Champions League, on winning the league, on becoming the best center backs in the world. Just do it, bro. Do it. I implore you to come in. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.